My name is Andy Dufresne, and as soon as the judgment hammer hit, I made a long plan in my mind with my professional expertise, gained the trust of the prison guards, used them to deal with the sisters who threatened me. I first obtained a rock hammer and posters from Red, and gained privileges like a private cell by handling tax matter for the prison guards. In the library, I studied geology books to analyze the prison structure. Over 19 years, I spent 2 hours daily digging the escape tunnel. I secured beers for my fellow inmates, but I didn't drink any of it. To keep the thirst for freedom burning, I risked weeks in solitary confinement, just to let those opera records soar through the prison and the library expansion. It was not the charity I wanted, but my spiritual bulwark against institutionalization. All the stories I've told, it all comes from one place. The day I walked into Shawshank prison wearing a proper suit, the surrounding inmates mocked me mercilessly. Facing their greedy stares, I felt completely at a loss in that moment. Captain Hadley's nightstick taught me the rules of this place. From the warden's lecture, I learned the most crucial information. He was a devout Christian.
We were rinsed mercilessly like animals to be slaughtered, then marched shirtless into cells. Staring at the dilapidated and oppressive surroundings, my mind churned with fear and indignation. Yet I chose silence, embraced silence as armor against this unwarranted humiliation.
As night fell, the fat man who came in with me collapsed into hysterical sobs. His cries summoned guards who beat him mercilessly without hesitation, while I endured my first night in silent shock. The next day at mealtime, I heard even more horrifying news.
Hey, Tyrell, how's that horse of mine doing anyway?
Dead. Hadley busted his head up pretty good. Doc had already gone home for the night. Old bastard laid there till this morning. By then, hell, it wasn't nothing we could do.
Shocked, I asked about the fat man's name. The response was ice cold. Who cares? He's already dead. Indeed, in a place like this, who would care about an inmate's life or death? That day in the showers, I drew the predatory gaze of one of the sisters.
Anybody get to you yet?
Staring back at his revolting lair, I offered no words, just turned and walked away. My silence did not deter them. The sisters' relentless sexual assaults and beatings came down like a storm. Every act of resistance only brought fiercer beatings.
In that moment, I knew I couldn't wait if I didn't act. I'd end up like the fat man soon enough. The next day during yard time, I sought out Red. He'd been doing time for 2 decades in this prison and could procure anything for the right price.
I wonder if you might get me a rock hammer.
What?
A rock hammer.
When I asked for a rock hammer, he was stunned, even guessed I intended to tunnel out. To alleviate his concerns, I claimed it was for carving stones to pass the time. Though skeptical of my explanation, he agreed to the deal for the right price.
Risk goes up, price goes up. It's making it even $10.
10 it is.
Red secured the rock hammer swiftly. When he saw its actual size, he laughed off his initial doubts. A tool this size would take 600 years to tunnel through, and so I claimed my first instrument of liberation. Yet the vicious sisters never ceased their assaults. Every encounter left me bloodied and broken. For 2 agonizing years I endured this torment, until 1949, when the first glimmer of hope finally pierced Shawshank's darkness. The day the warden needed 10 men for roof repairs, I landed the job through Red's connections. Overhearing the guards' conversation, I learned Captain Hadley had inherited a fortune, but faced losing over half to inheritance taxes. As a former banking executive, I decided to take the gamble.
You trust your wife?
Captain Hadley didn't answer. He just grabbed me and tried to shove me off the roof. Seeing this, I shouted again urgently.
If you want to keep all that money, give it to your wife. The IRS allows a one-time only gift to your spouse for up to $60,000.
Bullshit. Tax-free?
Tax-free. IRS can't touch 1 cent.
When I saw his hesitation soften, I demanded 20 beers as payment after handling his taxes. He agreed, believing such rewards were prison currency. Yet when those beers arrived, I never touched a drop. Because in my heart, I do not consider myself a prisoner, and I cannot accept the reward and punishment system that they think is very reasonable.
Back in my cell, I began planning the next phase. Yes, it was time to strike back. During a prison movie screening, I approached Red again this time, requesting a Rita Hayworth poster. Perhaps because I'd gotten him those beers earlier, Red agreed without hesitation. But my goal wasn't just the poster. This was my chance to end the harassment permanently. Just as I prepared to leave, the sisters cornered me again. Their beating left me bloodied, yet this time I welcomed every blow. Severely injured, I was rushed to the infirmary. Everything unfolded exactly as I had anticipated. Captain Hadley dealt with those predators brutally, because now, to those greedy guards, I had become a cheap servant who could help them profit.
After being discharged from the infirmary, I obtained my second tool. Now I had to wait for the devout believer to come. Sure enough, within days, the warden sought me out under the guise of a cell inspection. Knowing his obsession, I had memorized entire books of scripture long before his arrival.
Any favorite passages?
Watch ye therefore, for ye know not when the master of the house cometh.
Mark 13:35.
My answers earned the warden's approval, and I was granted a private cell along with permission to hang posters. And as he departed, he placed that very Bible back in my hands.
I'd hate to deprive you of this. Salvation lies within.
Yes, sir.
From that day forward, I laundered the warden's illicit funds and prepared tax returns for every guard in Shawshank. As part of the deal, I was assigned to work in the prison library. There I spent my days maintaining their financial schemes while studying geology in secret. Now I have everything ready. The rest is taut time. 5 more years slipped by, but I had underestimated time's corrosive power. The day Brooks was due for release, he snapped holding a shiv to another inmate's throat, trying to commit another crime to avoid freedom. Later, Red's words about Brooks's fate revealed the true horror of institutionalization.
But I'm telling you, these walls are funny. First you hate them, then you get used to them. Enough time passes, you get so you depend on them. That's institutionalized.
The moment I received news of Brooks's death, I deeply understood the terror of institutionalization. It was like an invisible poison slowly eroding my soul, draining my desire for freedom. I secretly vowed to change my situation. Even if my body couldn't physically leave this place, I would free my spirit from this cage. That day, while the guard was in the restroom, I secretly played music that filled the entire prison. As the beautiful melodies washed over me in that moment, I knew with certainty my spirit had already escaped these walls. I remained undiminished, a man who thirsted for freedom. After breaking prison regulations, I was locked in solitary confinement for 2 weeks. When I emerged, the other inmates mocked me as the maestro and thought my act was foolish, but only I knew the truth. Those 2 weeks in the dark had been pure joy, for my spirit had already escaped these walls. Perhaps heaven likes to play a joke on me. Just as I was getting everything ready, an unexpected visitor came to the prison. His name was Tommy, a young thief, and something he casually mentioned in a casual conversation when he was serving time in another prison. He heard a prisoner named Elmer Blatche bragging. Says he murdered an adulterer and framed the banker.
Fucking this prick see this golf pro, but she's married to some other guy. Some hotshot banker. And he's the one they pinned it on.
At that moment, my heart was filled with endless excitement and hope. Maybe I can get out of here without escaping. I can restore my former identity. I can regain my dignity. But I was still too naive when I told the warden of the matter. It was doomed to be a tragedy. How could this despicable guy let go of me who knew all his secrets? He put me in the brig. He designed to kill Tommy in order to never let me solve the case. Then I slowly calmed down in the brig. I realized that Norton would never let me leave Shawshank, not even give me the chance of parole like Boo. He was gonna trap me here forever, become the grave of his sin. Emerging from solitary, I resolved to leave this place for good. But first, 2 final tasks remained. I found my friend Red and told him to seek out a specific oak tree in Buxton after his release. Beneath it lay volcanic glass and the hope I had left for him. Then I entered the warden's office, swapped his ledger books and forged documents, and strolled back to my cell as if nothing had happened. I crawled bit by bit through this tunnel that had been dug for 19 years. Under the cover of the thunder, I smashed the sewer pipe with a stone. The stench inside made me unable to hold back my vomiting. At this moment, I seemed to be struggling in the depths of darkness, and that glimmer of light ahead was the other shore that led me to freedom. When I finally managed to climb out of the 500-yard sewer, the rain falling on me was like a baptism of rebirth. I took big gulps of fresh air, savoring the long-awaited freedom. The next day, I withdrew Norton's ill-gotten $370,000 from the bank. It was the punishment he deserved. I also sent the account books to the newspaper office. Under the pressure, Norton chose to commit suicide. During these long 19 years, I went through countless sufferings and hardships, but I never gave up my pursuit of freedom. That Bible and those posters all witnessed my struggles and perseverance. And I have also proven with my actions that as long as there is light in one's heart, one will surely be able to break through the darkness and welcome one's own dawn.